Welcome back to Black Bolt Podcast.
Hey, up.
How you guys doing? Today we got Ed Karasima out here.
Thank you for having me.
He's got some interesting stories for us. And before we do all that, we're actually going to drink a little vodka. This is Cascade Street Distillery's Potato Vodka, recipe 1480 proof.
Our first podcast sponsor.
Yes. Look at
Thank you,
that.
guys.
We're making it, guys.
Sweet.
I'll pour a little bit for all of it. All right.
My favorite.
Let's
Potato
cheers.
tends to give me the least amount of hangovers. So.
Hey, there we go. That's all
Thank you
right.
very much.
Cheers on that.
Cheers.
We're doing it. Oh.
That's actually not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
Go down
That's
bad.
pretty good.
That's
yeah.
good.
Look at
Usually,
that
like
Yeah.
I make sure it's cold. This isn't cold, but it's actually not
No,
bad.
it's really good. For room temperature,
Mhm.
it's like just out of the box.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
I'll drink that with a straw.
Oh. Like
All right.
like chocolate milk.
So, Alex, who's our guest today?
Ed Karasima. Ed has an interesting story. I went to design school with Ed, so he and I kind of go back a little bit. And right out of the chute from AI, you got hired at one of the bigger agencies in Portland.
Correct.
And I think it's fascinating that you how long were you there for?
A year and a half almost.
A year and a half. And I want to hear about your progression through it and how eventually you dipped.
And I want to apologize just right off the bat for my camera skills because Nick's not here today. So, for those of you watching the YouTube episode, it's going to be a little shaky. But yeah. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So I mean, I guess a lot of it started senior year of college. It has to be first, actually, when I did a lot of networking, and I did strategize. College being a stone's throw from some of the places that I wanted to work, and kind of worked out perfectly. But through,
You went to the place that everyone wanted to go.
correct, and it was my dream. It was my dream. I always thought I'd want to be, a big ad man. Maybe make it in Portland, move to LA, maybe go to New York, just kill it, live the ad man life.
Yeah.
But it's a struggle. I mean, everything's kind of a struggle, but I felt like I was not living the life I wanted to. And even though I did have the position I wanted to be in, a little bit on the account side, being client facing, also be on the creative side, I think it was the company and that culture that I didn't really like. And
yeah.
doing the work
Keep it closer to you.
kind of just made me realize that it wasn't worth it. The money was good, which was not a huge thing to me. I always thought I needed a huge piece of the pie. Now I realize that I didn't. But it came down to really doing the work and then questioning myself, like, will I be doing this in the next 10 years? And with big box agencies, I feel like there isn't a huge lot of movement, at least the movement that I wanted. And I also just didn't see myself working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Just kind of what made me want to just leap off. I loved the work. I just didn't love the time and effort that I put into it, not feeling like I was getting rewarded for it. And I'm not going to lie, I'm the type of person that when I do something, I do like to be, I'm not praised for it, but at least acknowledged. And I feel like for big box agencies, you don't get that. You do get the team camaraderie, and it was a great, job well done. But for myself, I wanted something a little bit more, a little bit more unique.
So wait, what kind of work were you doing?
So strategy, a lot of strategy work, a lot of digital work, yeah. So it's
Marketing mainly, or
Marketing mainly,
Okay.
yeah.
So internet primarily was what you ended up dealing with, or
internet, digital. Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
So,
Digital
but
marketing mainly.
A lot
Okay.
of my work was with my analytics guy and just figuring out why we're doing certain things to the demographic that we're looking after.
Mm-hmm.
Did you graduate from AI too?
I did graduate from AI. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get my diploma yet. I don't know where it is, but I'm supposed to get it.
Well,
Wait, when was that? How long ago?
This is a while
3
ago.
years, I think.
Was that, were you guys the
4
same
years?
class, or?
Same class as
I
me,
graduated maybe like a year and a half before you,
Yeah.
but they're shutting down, so you might
Yeah.
never get that diploma.
Okay, so I got like a $60,000 plastic book, but
Oh, that's right,
It'll
the
do.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no one's that's hired me has
Wow.
ever asked for my diploma. So
So I think like a lot of people have questions about the what you're saying, the big box agencies. You clearly didn't see growth. You didn't see yourself climbing a ladder, and you think that's like true for most people in there. Like, how long would you have to be in there to climb the ladder?
I mean, in my opinion, a long time. I'd say 10, 15 plus years. And I still don't even think that you might get to where you want to be, depending on how high your ceiling is that you really want to hit. I mean, for myself, I just, I dreamed really big, which I knew was a little bit unrealistic at first, but I thought, why not dream and just try to go for it? I mean, I got to say, I think my personality outweighs my actual skills sometimes, which is a good or bad thing. I always thought it worked well for me, though, when it came to client-facing things, because at the end of the day, if it was like a pitch, which I always excelled at, that was what I loved to do, you know? I just, yeah.
So what was it about the culture that you didn't like? What kind of things happened that drove you away?
The long hours, and with the agency that I was with a team of 12, and I was always with them. Not to say I didn't get along with them, but let's just say that they are PBR drinkers, and I am a vodka drinker.
Yeah, vodka drinker.
Right. So it is, we spent long nights together, and not that we didn't get along, we didn't get the work done, but I feel like a lot of agencies and big agencies are fairly already cliquey. So once you get into there, you're with the clique or you're not.
Departments are clicking within their own departments.
Correct.
That's tricky.
And I could see why. I mean, I got hired on based on a referral, so I get why I was there. But it just didn't fit all the way. And I think that was a big one why I didn't want to stay there anymore. It's just we didn't click. Late nights, always together.
That's what I've heard. It's a lot of late nights over there.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's, sometimes we slept over there at the agency and we just woke up and we continued on. Yes.
I mean, granted, if you're going to sleep at agency, it's probably one of the nicer places to sleep. But you don't want to go to your job that late. But there's a lot of pressure.
Exactly.
I want to go back to climbing that ladder thing and just saying most people want the same job.
Yes.
Most people want to be like the creative director or the art director, and there's not a lot of those inside, not a lot of those jobs inside the agency on its own. Like only a few people get that job. So I totally understand what you mean by you might never get the job you want. Yes. And the only way to really do that is to do exactly what you're doing and branch out, which you're not even doing agency life anymore. You're doing a totally different industry. It's like it burnt you out so bad that you just abandoned every aspect of that entirely. Yeah,
and I rarely stress about anything throughout college, throughout life, through now. I don't stress about almost anything, but this was something that maybe didn't stress, but it really made me think twice. And if something makes me think twice, that means I probably need to do something about it.
Why do you think it is that? I mean, I know you stress about college, kinda. I guess that you get stressed out when there's more money on the line. I know tuition is money, but you're not seeing that money float away. You're just trying to get the grade and get the diploma. But when you're in a real agency and you hear the dollar amount and it's your duty to make sure that client's happy, that is stressful.
Yeah.
But that can go with any industry. I mean, when you see the dollar amount and it's that's you or your ass is fired, that's pressure. Was it kind of like that?
It was. I mean, it was a lot of responsibility. And I guess the biggest thing was being able to produce something that I was actually proud of was another thing.
You weren't doing it?
No.
Really?
I was doing work that, may have gotten a lot of notice and maybe an award or two. But I wasn't proud of it.
Really? You were winning awards and you weren't proud of it?
Well, because, okay, I'm not going to lie. Nobody knew I was doing it.
Oh,
and I
gotcha.
do, at the end of the day, I like that praise. I like, just being acknowledged, and some will think it's selfish of me, but I think it's just me being different because
not really. I mean, I think I don't know. Sorry to interrupt, but I totally think it depends. Sometimes you need credit for stuff. I think sometimes it's super important, especially when it comes to art. You can get so screwed by letting companies take all the copyright for your work. And it's especially if you slaved away at it. I don't know if you did, but
sounds like it.
Yeah. The long. I mean, if you were closer to being stressed out than you ever were before, I mean, that sucks that you got to do that and then you don't get any credit for it. Yeah. That doesn't feel good.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah. So what do you do now?
I now am an autobroker.
Yeah, you're an autobroker.
Yes, I am. For those that don't know what an autobroker is, I am your personal shopper. Whether you're selling a car or buying a car or don't know what you're doing, got too much money and you don't have enough time, I do it all for you. Just
that sounds kind of fun.
It does sound exactly like what he was saying. He's really good with clients, and you probably enjoy just kind of digging around on the internet.
Exactly. I mean, I am doing work for people, which is kind of what I
Yeah.
was doing anyways, but
You connect the dots.
yeah, like I think it's because I have my hands on everything through A to Z now. And just and I feel proud. And you know, seeing my customers happy, that's all I need now. You know?
And it's you, and they're happy with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm only a month and a half into it of me actually having this small business, and I love it.
Yeah,
You know, not
that's
only
good.
am I my own boss, but I can come and do things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to put in a 4-week request to get 1 day off of work, and I enjoy it now, and I don't feel like I'm going to be micromanaged in any
That's
way,
good.
or
That's good.
everything that I need to do. I know that it's me. Now.
Yeah, well, you were here the other day, and this is how we were sparking up conversations again. And we talked a little bit about just people kind of graduating from college and designers the difference between designers and artists that make it and the artists that don't. And you can like almost see it in the
fine line.
in the very beginning, you're like, oh, they're not gonna make it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, especially
yeah.
at our school.
Yeah, well,
Our school, you know, they're farting on the beanbag chairs, and they're,
Yeah.
but those are the creative ones. You know, I still have a lot of friends that are on the creative side, and you know, just we're in the corner in the shadows, doing their own thing, drawing in the books. But I always, you know, you could tell, just like you said, is you can tell some are going to make it and some aren't, and it's not that they're not skillful or that their work is not great, but it does have a little bit of personality that needs to get out there, and people need to see why they should hire you, or why your work is
Right.
good, or why I want to work with you. I think at the end of the day, you know, the work and the skills are great, but I think people are going to want to work with people they get along with, which I think a lot of
Yeah.
people already know. But it's still, you know, a lot of creatives are introverts, which is totally fine. But I think, you know, just if you can learn to break out of your shell just even a little bit, I think you'd be really successful. I mean, or just be more happy. Because even till right now, I know some friends that have a difficult time finding some creative jobs, and it's bound to happen because, you know, the education we learned then is almost irrelevant now. You know, I mean, there's so much new things, and
yeah, you learn so much. But even aside from extrovert, introvert, building that callus of criticism, the criticism callus, you see them get critiqued first year there.
There's a tear.
And some they will cry, like they won't take it very
Yeah.
well. But then usually you kind of build up that callus. And this reverts so much back to what we talk about by just putting your art out on the internet. Because the internet is the toughest critic. Kids in class, you know, they got to say it to your face. On the internet, they don't got to say it to your face. They'll say whatever the hell they want. And you got to know that you can't take it personally.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to take it.
Yeah.
I actually, we preach that so much in here that I've started saying that shit to like people I've just met.
Yeah,
Or
right.
like, yeah, well, not just on the podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's what I'm doing on the podcast. But in regular life, like I'll meet someone, they'll be like, "Yeah, I paint, but I don't do it anymore." I'll be like, "Why?" And they'll be like, "Cause people didn't like it." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, this is my thing. Every day, every week, I tell people that you got to keep making it."
Yes.
Well, it's
Anyways,
true.
yeah, no.
It really
it's
is
true,
a
yeah.
callus. It is a callus. You just get used to it.
Skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I think it's not that you don't have to care about what everybody critiques and says. I think you just have to take it with a grain of salt, like with anything. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's things that they can think about in their life that people will criticize, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, well, whatever, it's mine." You know? I think if more people thought about that with everything,
Yeah. Well, you got to think about exactly who's saying it.
yes.
If it's not your target, if it's not the people that you want this art to be in front of,
yeah,
why
would you even
doesn't
care?
really matter what
Yeah,
they
it's
say.
true.
You know?
that is very true.
Ooh, more vodka.
I'm taking
Let's
more.
do it. Let's do
Let's
more.
do it.
Okay, so what? Yeah, what? Do you have any advice for people who are just getting out of college and they got this job that they think is sick, but it could end up being miserable for them? Like the culture's just not right. Like
Yeah.
what things should new graduates look for, in your opinion, or like people who are about to graduate and they're talking with companies? Like,
I think at the end of the day, it's just don't be afraid to do anything, or just get a job, or get your foot through the whole getting your foot through the door thing. I never really believed, but once I actually got my foot through the door, I understood why everyone told me to just get your foot through the door and get your feet wet and kind of see what you like, because I did everything from account coordination to production to strategy to some internet production to full on marketing. And I am doing what I do now because I went through, I don't want to say hell, but I went through hell, and I did all those things that I didn't like. And a lot of our professors always told us, you know, you got to figure out what you don't like before you figure out what you like. And that's probably what I tell everybody, just don't be afraid. I mean, go do it. Even if it's not what you want to do, maybe it's for the company you want to work for, screw it. Do it.
That's actually really good advice.
It is good. And I would say don't be fooled by the work they produce.
Yes.
Because just because they make cool stuff doesn't mean they got a cool culture.
Or that you'll enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yes.
such a insane fallacy that I've never understood. Why people will just be like, I like their product, but the culture must be great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, dude, have you worked anywhere ever?
And-
You got the front end and the back end. You have the face of the company and you have how things are actually working. Sometimes they're in sync.
Right.
But a lot of the times they're not. And the bigger the company gets, the
And I think one
less
thing
likely they are to be that way.
for those
I feel
going out
like.
into the real world is don't change yourself or don't change your work or don't change
True
your
that.
style.
Yeah.
Because when I first got into my first agency, I kind of, even during the interview, I kind of changed myself to be who I thought they wanted me to be.
I think that's a natural reaction when
Yeah.
you're
You wanna
just
fit in.
starting
Like,
off.
don't-
Yeah, and you're
yeah.
young and you just graduated college and like, I gotta get a job now.
But
you
once I
know.
realized there's so many agencies, whether it's a small one with 2-3 people or a big one with thousands worldwide, there's going to be an agency that's right for you. And if you just stick to your style, stick to what you know, and just put yourself out there, I don't think there's any way you're going to fail. And that's where I think I didn't stress. Even till this day, I was like, well, I have the skills. I know I can do it. Why am I going to stress? So just don't stress, people. Just do it.
You know what I think is that can get to your head in a bigger like agency is that you'll only wear one little hat.
Yes.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And if you're dynamic, and if you're a creative person, you're probably somewhat dynamic.
Yeah.
And if you're a
should
dynamic
be.
person, you're gonna be miserable only wearing one hat at work.
Yeah.
And another thing that happens at a lot of places, not as much at the bigger companies, unless they're like franchises that are understaffed, but is that you actually are wearing several hats, but you're only getting recognized for one.
That's true.
That's worse.
Ben,
I think.
Joe was talking about how you should get paid for every hat you wear.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not getting paid for wearing 5 hats, that kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you go to a smaller agency, usually you're getting paid more if the client's bigger, and you might be wearing more hats. But that's usually for like the better outcome of it in general. So,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Just smaller places are always better.
Yeah.
Unless they're too small.
Well, yeah. I mean, I definitely wouldn't
say
say
that.
smaller places are always better because sometimes, like a lot of small places that have too much money in them, like someone just threw millions and millions of dollars on this little tiny company. It's like, well, you didn't need to throw that much money down, but they just like don't know, like a rich person who wants to start a business but doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Because I've been a part of a few of those, and I know I have friends who've been a part of a few of those. A lot of the times, those are a mess too, because they don't know what they're doing, and then someone like has to come in and be like, "Hey, you're screwing all these things up," and they usually don't want to listen because they're not used to listening to people because they're the boss. My cousin was the CEO of a company this is the exact thing I'm describing.
Yeah.
This guy wanted to save the earth, and he's like, "I'm going to start a website and save the earth." And my cousin got hired right out of college with a political science degree, and he was like, "Okay," and so the guy ended up paying him like, I don't know, like $75,000 a year to basically wear a cowboy hat and go on trips with him and meetings.
What?
Yeah, and
Wear a cap, like literally?
Yeah, and my cousin became the CEO for no reason. He's just like, I like you, CEO. And so he's like, okay, and then and my cousin's like a hippie. Like now he's just all dreaded and stuff, and so he's wearing a cowboy hat, going on these meetings that it led nowhere. And the company had like 7 people. It was one of those things, and then eventually he just quit. He's like, I can't stand you anymore.
He's like, I hate cowboy hats.
Yeah. It was just too, and I was like, dude, that's a lot of money to just let go of just because you didn't like his. I don't know. He didn't have to do anything, but still, like, I get it. You got to follow your passion to some extent.
Yeah. And there's sometimes it's malleable.
Yeah.
Like the company will, if you throw out an idea, they might be receptive to the idea, and you might be like, "Hey, I like this, but I kind of rather to be doing this." And if they like you enough, they'll be like, "All right, sure, yeah. You could do that."
Oh, totally. You always want to put that out there at the very least.
You should definitely try.
I think that's where it's hard though, because if you're afraid, which most are, even previous to this job, I worked for proportionality, sales and marketing, and sometimes you throw ideas out there, and it's just like, oh wow, just went with the wind.
Well, that's another company. It's got that umbrella of like portionality.
Yeah,
so
but still, it's locally. It's a local dealership, and you can do certain things, but
yeah,
it's just I think that hurts even more than you actually telling your idea to somebody that actually listens to it and then maybe even acknowledges versus that to where they just be like, oh, okay.
Just completely throw it out the drain.
That hurts even more. And I think that kills me inside more than anything else.
Like, not even worth considering.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like, well, why'd you hire me?
Right.
It hurts. But I think, quality of life and passion is what a lot of people need to just think about before they...
Work-life balance is important.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I struggle with that sometimes where I don't take enough time to like chill.
Dude, nobody does.
Yeah.
I have been yelling at all my friends recently to fucking relax, and they when they do, it makes my life better. Just gotta talk to them. I'm just like, dude, they'll take 3 days off, and I'll talk to them, and they'll be all happy and stuff. And I'm like, look at this. You're a completely new freaking person. Freaking like honestly, and I'm a workaholic too. So like I and everyone honestly, I'm bad at taking care of myself. Like usually, I won't even realize that people will come to me and be like, dude, you are not looking good. You are not, you seem really pissed and cranky and you keep looking at the ground and scowling and shit. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right. And then I take a day off and then just do nothing, you know, like but it's so important. It's ridiculously important.
What's like the turning point or like the tipping point of noticing and recognizing that you need like a day off?
There's a couple, honestly, I don't want to say most of them on air. It's all really. I'm just starting to act so weird that I'm like, so if I don't sleep, that's more obvious because I just start being really silly. I'll just start doing really silly shit, not caring at all. And then people, it's never like malevolent or like I'm not harming anyone or anything, but people will just be like, "Whoa, dude, you're acting. You need to go take a nap."
You need a Snickers bar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. But what about you?
I think like if I like flip someone off driving,
the driving, that's
like
a good indicator.
Like, all right, I need to chill. Like what am I doing? Yeah. Like I should be doing that. That's not nice.
Yeah,
the road rage, man.
Yeah. What about you?
I know. For me, how do I know when, man, things are getting to me?
Yeah.
I think when I just start questioning things.
Oh, like you
know,
said.
sometimes I have like these little conversations in my head, like, wait a minute. Why am I even driving to work right now? You know? Is this really worth the 15-minute drive to make the money? Like, no, I don't think so.
You're brushing your teeth, you just stop brushing, just stare at yourself like, what am I doing?
It really is.
That's cool. That kind of sounds healthy.
That's
that's all it is.
Yeah,
you just as soon as I question myself, I know I'm on the wrong path. It's like you sound like
I almost don't believe you. I almost don't believe you. I think you do way worse shit than that.
You sound like Jesus or something. Like you have like God by your side and like the perfect path laid out for you all the time, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't see a golden road in front of me. What's happening right now?
It's just the beginning, you know.
Yeah, and I'm over here flipping people off. You're just a revelation.
Yeah. I'm starting to lose my mind, and you're just like brushing your teeth, and you're like, wait, this toothpaste isn't charcoal. Why do I work for this company?
You gotta be more like Ed.
No, seriously. Yeah.
I think it's the islander in me. The whole just whatever.
Ben won't even admit what he does.
It's so bad I can't even say it. And you're just like, I brush my teeth. And I think to myself for a moment, and I realize the problems in my life, all the problems in my life come when I'm brushing my teeth. No. Oh, boy. So what? Are you from here?
I'm originally from Hawaii. I've been here.
So that's why you're relaxed and happy and shit. For sure. You go to Hawaii and there's this the vibe there is so much different. You
Not
know,
anymore. You still get stabbed and shot there now.
Well, yeah, you're always gonna get. Okay, I felt the stabby, shooty vibe when I went there a few years ago. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like when I ride the bus with people who are from there, everyone's like comfortable being next to you. Whereas you ride the bus here or like anywhere else in the States, and they're like.
Yeah.
You know, it's this weird, creepy, like, we need to keep this distance or I'll die, like feeling. True. And you go into Hawaii, like, people don't, they're so comfortable and relaxed. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I've actually had this conversation with people, and this might be completely related. Mm-hmm. If there was an ad agency that opened in Hawaii, would it be, okay, if I moved there, let's say hypothetically, I moved there, and I worked at an ad agency in Hawaii, would it drive me crazy how slow things move and how late people are to meetings?
I think so.
I know it would.
There's a reason why I'm here and not there.
yeah, right?
That's one of them, you know?
Because, like, I'm so punctual with this shit. Like, I have to be on time, and I have to, like, be as productive and efficient as possible. And if you're lazy, no, I wouldn't say lazy.
Yeah.
If you're like relaxed and
lax, yeah.
slow,
There's just no.
I don't have time for
fire
that shit.
under
Like
them.
I need to be efficient as you in that. But then again, that's the workaholic issue that I have. Maybe I need
Yeah.
to be more relaxed.
Yeah.
Let the blood pressure calm down.
Yeah.
Not flip people off when I drive. I need to stop doing all that shit, and then things will be better. And then maybe I can go there and start an agency.
I think the only thing it'll do is it'll shock the hell out of them. Like, oh, you're on time, you're working, you're doing things, you know. So you might stick out like a bright star, or you might just be like,
They might
you
be
gotta go back home.
They might be surprised. They might be impressed, but I'd be frustrated.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you would be frustrated. Yeah,
Yeah,
You
maybe.
drive around the island, you're driving in a circle all your life.
Right? I've driven around on accident.
See, you
Last
don't
time I was
know.
there, last time I was there, I drove around Oahu on accident. And I was like, oh,
Well, I'm back where I started.
we're back in Honolulu.
Yeah. I mean, unless you enjoy the beach and that culture, then maybe you're fine.
I love
but if
beaches.
not, yeah.
I love the culture, but I think like, man, I can't go to California, but that's probably the closest thing I could do to it.
Yeah.
Wait, why can't you go to California?
I just don't really feel like it.
I don't want to either.
No, it's nice, but like it's so expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh well, duh. But I mean, you're not living there.
Yeah.
Or you mean living there, or what do you mean?
doing anything.
Just
there.
going there at all?
Okay. Oh no, you could live there. Like you could retire there, and that'd be really nice.
But that's
Yeah.
expensive. That's the most
I
expensive.
guess everything about California is
Is-
expensive.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
And
definitely
like
I can't
if
do
you're,
it.
if you're there,
Place.
if you're there with like our wage, you're kind of living in the dumps,
Oh, definitely.
and that's not that fun.
But the wages are way higher there. If we the same jobs that we have, if we were
Barely.
there
You think it
and
evens
everything was
out?
relatively the same, we'd have. Well, most people I know that moved to California make double or triple.
Yeah, and that's
like
why
immediately. Like
and
they don't.
that's
They
why
didn't have to
everyone-
try. They just make more. Yeah.
and that's why everyone should move to California.
Yes, please.
Don't come to Oregon.
Yes, keep coming back.
Don't come over
Don't come
here.
back.
Well, you come here, get this, gain the skills, get the
Yeah.
resume, then go to
Yes.
California
Yeah.
and make the decent living. Of course, you're spending this. You're going to live the same because you're the money that's spent. Whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
spend the same amount of money living, and it's all going to be gone. If you live in San Francisco, you're probably screwed.
Dude, people literally can't afford to move out of San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh no.
You hear
Yeah.
about that?
They
Like
can
they
barely
can't
make it by.
and like they're out of U-Hauls because so many people are trying to move out that like there's no
Jeez.
U-Hauls left because they just
Yeah.
drive them and leave them outside the state.
Jesus.
Yeah, like this is happening.
How
Jeez.
gentrified is it there? Is it literally like just 6 people
Dude.
sitting in a tower?
Yo, I don't even think
Just
I
looking
don't
out
even
over the
think it's
city.
gentrification. It's not even gentrification. It's like beyond gentrification.
Beyond- what-
it's like magnification gentrification.
That's-
like I don't
that's
even
a
know what
good
the hell it is because it's like you're gentrifying a gentrified area.
Just adding more money.
That's
to
what I'm
more
saying.
Money.
It's 6 people sitting in a giant tower
Right?
over the entire city, just laughing.
Just
And they own the whole thing, and they just keep raising the rent because they don't need anyone to pay them. They're like, we don't need anyone to actually pay us for this
yeah,
apartment.
we own this whole city.
If you want it, you got to give us $10,000 a week. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty
Wow.
insane.
I can't
That's
do it.
not a real number, but
I always didn't want to. I didn't want to move to someplace like Cali or New York or Vegas because I didn't want to take the uniqueness out of like being able to visit there and like enjoy it. Like how like I don't know.
You're
For
just making
some,
excuses now. You're just
yeah,
making-
okay. I don't like California. Then. I don't like California. All right. I don't know why you guys did that to burritos.
They do got tacos down though. I'll give them that for sure.
That's true.
They got tacos.
I'll do me a Cali quesadilla any day.
I just want to say, like, I feel like you're always talking about work-life balance, but there's a way to, I haven't figured it out, but I guarantee there is a way to make your life easy, like, set your life up so that you can chill. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're still making money, you're still working, but you feel relaxed in some way. I mean, obviously, there's things such as good stress. You want to work hard from time to time, but maybe doing what you like to be doing, or maybe just at a level that's like just the right amount of stress where you feel good about yourself at the end of the day, not bad. Because if you don't stress yourself enough, you feel bad. If you stress yourself too much, you feel bad. But there's like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And I
don't
honestly think
know.
there's a way to get there.
I don't know if it's doing what you like to be doing. I think it's time constraints. Because
do you mean?
I could be doing what I like to be doing all day.
Still not.
But it's
enough
when
time.
but when it's like you got to get it done in a day, that's when you're like, oh shit, I really got to start working
sometimes that
faster
helps,
and hard.
though.
No, I think like
Why don't you
deadline
stop putting stuff off?
deadlines are important.
Did you not?
Yeah, that helps
have you
me.
never considered that?
Wait,
It's
stop.
not putting stuff off.
I don't put stuff off.
Well, why the deadlines?
No, it's just like unrealistic deadlines. I think that's it. That's what.
Oh, yeah.
An
But are you
unrealistic
setting those
deadline.
or?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are you negotiating those, or are you talking about your job mainly, or?
Well, it can be clients who want it faster. Just want it really
Gotcha.
quick. Yeah,
That's okay. You're right, and you've told me of some of these situations where they want turnaround that's insanely unrealistic. Why don't you just tell them no? Or hey, that's unrealistic.
Or expectations from the beginning. I think that for me is a huge one. Is expectations.
I
long
think
as expectations are set.
Yeah, I think there's like a weird thing that will happen where they might put an unrealistic timeline, but they'll pay you more. And you're like,
but what happens when
you're like, I will accept that challenge.
Yeah, I got you. That makes I think that's cool. And at that point,
big.
you're getting paid more, and then it's nice, right?
Yeah. So
I could see that. So you're basically just accepting too difficult challenges.
well, you get them done, but you're stressed out in the meantime.
That's true.
I mean,
some of the stuff we've done has been sweet. Like I feel horrible while I'm doing it, but when I'm done, I feel amazing.
Yeah,
I'm like, God, I feel so
Even
good.
We've done a couple of projects.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Together, like the stuff we've done together, I felt like that a few times.
But how you feel afterwards? Do you think it's worth everything that you just went through?
Sometimes.
Well, no. You literally like forgot about a paycheck that one time. Remember that? You're like, hey, I found this check.
That is true.
Then
I put it in a separate bank account, and then I found it like a few months later, and I was like, oh yeah, thank God we did that. That's why I like those. That's why those projects can be nice, though. Those side projects that you agree to that you don't have to agree to, and they have a strong deadline because maybe you kill yourself, but you got this fat extra paycheck and something on your resume that you didn't have before. You know, and as long as you're not like actually hurting your health too much, I think it's definitely worth it.
If you're gonna put that much pressure on yourself, it better have an outcome that you want. Whether it be money, or whether it be recognition, it better have something. Otherwise, you're stressing yourself out for nothing. I think that's kind of what you were doing.
Yeah.
What motivates you, Ed? Like, why do you get up in the morning?
I think it's always better quality of life. And a lot of it has to do with traveling, I think, because I just want to travel.
Dude, don't we all?
Yeah, being from everyone. I mean, being from the islands, especially getting off the island was a huge thing. And now that I know there's other things out there than just an island, I just want to always travel.
It's expensive. That's the one thing that holds people back. It's like, dude, we all want to go.
But after, I finally got my passport 2 years ago, and I've been traveling a little bit, and it's not as expensive as most think. As long as you're not...
Depends where you're at.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've gone to a few places, and like I kind of understand how much it costs to go out of the nation and be somewhere for a week or two. And you just got to save it up. That's really it. You got to manage it. I mean, even if you're not making a ton of money, you can make it work.
Yeah.
But it definitely helps.
Depends on how bad do you want it, you know?
That's very true.
Do you really want it,
how bad do you want to go to Austria? How bad do you want to go to Tokyo? You know?
I don't think anything is almost unrealistic as long as you try. And just don't give up. I don't know. Don't stress, guys. Don't stress. Who cares? It'll get done. That's how I got through life.
I think also, how we have unrealistic expectations with clients. I think you need to be realistic about budgeting your money.
That's true.
Don't sometimes
don't try budget.
Don't try to don't try to just dump it all on a credit card.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people do that. Yeah, you
got to spend the money you don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah, right after you quit your job that you realized you didn't want.
Yeah, right.
I don't want this job. I'm just gonna go buy stuff on my credit card.
Yeah, man, I give a lot of good advice that I don't follow.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. It's so funny. Honestly, when we first started this podcast, some of the things you were saying to people, I was like, you never do that. Why don't you do that? You would be so much happier if you did that. I don't understand.
More vodka. That'd be great.
Alex hates thinking about himself. We all do. We're millennials. We hate actually objectively judging ourselves from a completely objective standpoint. We fucking hate it. We're like, no way. It's like, dude.
Ben just broke
these shoes. If I broke the chair, that's fine. If I broke these shoes, I'd be slightly miffed. Even though the chair is far more expensive.
Jeez, you were in Yeezys.
How long have you been in business for yourself?
Only a month and a half.
Oh shit!
It's been a month and a half.
Wait, so how long ago did you quit?
How long ago did I quit? So, which one? Big Box Agency or my most previous?
Big Box. Yeah,
that's been 3 years ago.
And then, so you went to another company after that?
Yes.
And what happened there?
That one, kind of the same thing. Well, actually, no. That one was more of this agency only worked for one company, and because this one company is such a big corporation, they only trust certain agencies. So this agency would be with this company forever and ever. And we did our small advertising agency focused more of worked more as a marketing agency where we did everything. everything, and it was bad. And I wanted to move up, just as like any other job, any position. And I asked my boss, I was like, is there really movement? He was like, not unless you kill one of us.
No shit.
Holy shit, dude. He was that honest?
He was that honest.
Wow.
And it's,
Thank God he was that honest at least, though, right? Like,
but,
you don't want to be stuck there forever thinking that you got a job that you don't.
Exactly. And it's, that job, every job I'm seeing always is a stepping stone. So I'm kind of glad he was that honest. And he did like the way I worked. And he said, you'd probably be really great at what you do, but you're going to be doing this forever. I was like, oh, okay.
Suddenly you start poisoning the drinks,
Yeah.
So actually, this is something that's been happening, and I go to like a lot of marketing conferences, and I hear people predict where just agencies are going, and a lot of them are predicting that everything's going to be in-house.
Yeah.
People are investing on in-house because content is way bigger than it used to be. It used to be, you put up a TV ad. Now it's like you got to put up something every day.
Yep.
And now they want to invest in that. So every big company is going to have these little agencies built in where it's like, 6 creatives, but that's enough to really crank out serious content at the demand that it is. I mean, do you see that happening too?
I think so, because there's almost, not unless you're a really big agency that can't handle what your work is needing, I don't think there's a reason to outsource and have anybody else. And it's just easier when you have people who are in the house doing things.
Yeah, I think you should outsource when it comes to like high production.
Yes.
But you can get away with doing your daily content, doing your social stuff, and just kind of have it within that group.
Yeah.
But like when it requires, like let's say, because I'm in this a video, like where you need like a DP and where you need a gaffer, you need like a set, and you need to like rent that out. There's so many people that specialize in those positions that you should invest well into that, because you're a person that posts your marketing content might not be the best gaffer, might not be the best like DP, or just because they know how to work a camera doesn't really mean that much. So I guess that's my 2 cents.
Definitely, no, I agree, and I think that the thing is that a lot of the times people don't need the high production, not for the daily stuff. You need the you need the high production for things that you want to be more sweeping, or have a higher reach, or a different mood. But the daily, like, hey, I'm still here, you don't need that production. And so that's why they're doing the in-house stuff, I would say. Because it's just like, someone's just got to take a picture of something and write a sentence. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, and there's like 2 sides to it, too. Like, you don't always need high-polished stuff. Like, it can't, like what you're saying, where it's the person, sometimes that goes so far, and like people really value that, and they want that, and it's the buzzword, the authenticity route. They want like the expert to seem in a raw environment talking about what they're good at.
True, exactly. And I think that everything's moving towards more in-house, or just essentially less distance. Really. Yeah. Like, I don't want to run across town for this. I don't want to wait for this entire company to do this. Like, can I just get it done right now? Like, can I just do this for myself? And so many, like, I feel like a lot of the people that are entrepreneuring right now and kind of changing the world are just taking on that, like, I'm just going to do it myself attitude and recognizing where they can and where they can't. And grabbing every opportunity where they can do it themselves and saying, I'm just going to do this myself because I can. And, the stuff I can't, I'll leave that to everyone else. But as much as I can do, that I can jump in front of, even if I've never done it before, like, I've never posted social media before, but I've seen it. And I know that I can just take a picture of our product and just say one fact about it. And that's better than nothing. Yeah. And taking those kind of leaps and taking that kind of initiative, I think, is a huge part of what makes people successful at entrepreneuring right now.
That's a tactic too.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, like, I think we're all guilty of it. When you go through Instagram now, there's so many ads and sponsored things.
Well, Instagram is everyone doing that. That's like Instagram is kind of the epitome of everyone doing that. Yeah.
But like when you scroll through and you see a really obvious commercial, you don't acknowledge that at all.
That's true. I flip right
you
through
just flip right through that shit. You don't want to see if it's
it kind of pisses you off.
Yeah. If it's like wide, it's not the square. You're like, what is this? And then you don't even care. You just dismiss it entirely. But if you could tell that it was filmed on a phone and looks like someone who is your friend, you're gonna be, I wouldn't say fooled by it, but you might kind of hear them out for a second. And I think that's something people need to understand.
Definitely. And that makes the in-house thing even more compelling because you're like, well, the only people who are going to look at my ad anyway is the people who know me or who know our company already or who know the people who work here or are involved with it. It's all word of mouth thing. It's all a nepotism or networking thing anyways. And so you kind of make the ad geared towards that. You're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And it's like kind of geared towards the people you know. And they're like, oh, I know Alex. And this is awesome. You know? And a lot of advertisement is kind of I think this is very, very new. I think we're right on the cutting edge of this right now, is that it's turning in. There's a lot that's going to become a lot more popular because we're all filled with, it's information overload right now, right?
It's information overload.
It's information overload. So
and everything's cheap right now.
Yeah. And we don't have a choice. Information overload, like you can't live in America and not accept information overload to get through your day. Just think about when you wake up, how many things you have to worry about, how many bills you have compared to 30 years ago. There's so many more bills now. People didn't pay for, not everyone needed a car. You know, not everyone had a cell phone, internet, all that stuff.
Right.
The way health insurance has gone, like the bills are crazy, and then you've got to check all your messages. You've got a million messages no one's had. The information overload is coming, and there's nothing we can do about it.
We're losing time.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing because we don't have time, and we're trying to figure out how to get the most time out of our day.
I feel like millennials are doing a good job of cutting shit out and learning how to like filter. Essentially, like millennials are the generation I feel like that finally said, "Whoa, I'm getting bombarded by information," so we're kind of mastering the filtering of it, of being like, oh, this is all bullshit. And that's why we don't buy napkins and like shit like that, because it's just a distraction. It's like, I don't have time to fucking buy a napkin when I've already got paper towels. You know, I'm not even gonna look at your fucking napkin ads. I've got 4,000 ads coming at me an hour. Dude, you know, you know what I'm saying?
I tried buying I bought a napkin holder and I only filled it once. Because I was like,
millennials don't buy napkins. What's wrong with you? You steal them from the restaurant. You steal them from the restaurant.
That's the name of the episode. Millennials don't buy napkins.
It's true though. No, but my point is that the reason that in-house marketing is becoming more popular and the reason that we're advertising to our friends is because if we're accepting the fact that we need to take in information all day, every day, we'd rather take it from our friends.
Well, no, you know, we got to do that, but we also got to put it out there. We need to like mass produce, but we need to be constantly making stuff, constantly putting it out there and making sure that like within our company, because like I said, it used to just be one commercial, one spot for one company. Now the internet exists and it's like this whole nother sphere and we got to put it on Google Play, on YouTube. We got to put it on LinkedIn. You got to put it on Facebook. Got to put it on so many things. And it takes time to not only post it there, but to make it in a way that it works on that platform.
Isn't that why Super Bowl ads died? Because Super Bowl ads used to be a really big thing.
They're just entertainment now. They don't sell you on the product anymore. It's just entertainment.
Yeah. People just want to see the story that you created, ultimately.
Did you work on a Super Bowl ad?
Maybe.
Oh, shit. Anyways, what do you do to stay healthy?
Absolutely nothing now.
Nothing?
I need to.
Oh, shit.
I mean, I try to get out, but...
Getting fat?
It's a happy weight, you know.
A happy
weight.
It's a Hawaiian weight.
It is Hawaiian weight.
God,
I just think it's gonna
from Hawaii.
It's gonna get off sooner or later.
They're like, we're not lazy, we're not fat.
Yeah, we're just big boned.
Oh god.
I finally just saw a picture of they showed a skeleton as if it was really big boned. It was the dumbest thing ever. So don't ever use the excuse that you're big bone if you're fat.
That's
just fat.
No, it's diet and exercise. But I mean, it's hard in the summertime. You get distracted. Too many people like day drinking on rooftops and going out on the boat.
I feel like it's the extreme weather that really. It's a dead winter and intense hot summer that people start to lose it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I went for a run yesterday. And thank God I live in Tigered around a bunch of parks because every 5 minutes I had to stop and drink like a half gallon of water. Because I mean, it was 95 degrees, give or take, but still, like I was like, I really need to exercise. You know, I don't feel like going to the gym. I just ran a little bit, and then it was immediately like I can't move.
Dude, it's
had to go get
tough,
some water.
Man.
Yeah,
like when I was in Arizona, I was in Arizona.
I thought about you when this was happening to me. I was drinking all this hot water, and I was like, I hope I don't get Alex Bone poison. Sorry, go ahead and tell the story.
So I was in Arizona for
Scottsdale
for a video shoot, and I didn't know that. How to start? Okay, so I was there for a few days, and I was progressively getting more and more tired, and I was like, God, what the hell is going on? And on that third day, I had a couple drinks, like 2, maybe 3, and I was hurling like out of control the next day, and I felt like hell. And I remember going like thinking maybe I need nutrients, I need juice. So I drove to a juice place, and then I went in. I couldn't even go in without like puking out front. It was just awful. And at one point, I just like passed out in the back of my car, the rental car, and I wake up to like cops banging on the window, and they were like, hey, what are you doing? Are you robbing people? And I'm like, what, robbing people? Like, yeah, you fit the description of someone robbing people in the area. And I'm like, no, I just don't feel that good. And I drove to my buddy Gino's house, and he's like, oh, that's weird. The other cops called on you. Anyways, I was like, I'm so thirsty though. He's like, I fill up some water in his faucet, and he's like, oh, by the way, don't drink the water here. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, it just kind of flushes through you. It doesn't really hydrate you. And I'm like, I've been drinking the water for 4 days. You're telling me like I'm just severely dehydrated. I was feeling like kidney pain, and yeah, so that was not the funnest experience. And this is rough, man. You gotta be careful with that stuff.
That's Portland. I think Portland's the only place I actually drink the tap water.
Yes,
just because it's supposed to be good, right?
It's so much better. Everywhere else, it's weird growing up in Portland and then leaving and then drinking tap water. What the fuck is wrong with this?
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy
like poison.
He was from Nevada or something, and you don't drink it there either. And he came up here, and he said like the first experience was this family, and they were all drinking the tap water, and he was like, "Man, these white people are crazy up here." Why are you drinking the tap water? It took him weeks to like accept that
it was clean and
yeah.
Oh man, you even go outside of Portland and it's gross. Right. You go to like the wrong parts of 99 West. You keep going down and you drink some of that tap water and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this shit?
Well, I think I lived in a couple places in Corvallis where like the house is so
Corvallis,
old,
I can see that.
and the pipes just taste weird, and they're still. All right. Well, hey, any last comments? Or anything?
Yeah. Anything you want to promote your business?
No.
Like
I mean, EdTheAutoBroker.com. If you need a car, buy a car, sell a car. I'm your man. Other than that, I always love to network. So hit me up on there. Everybody's got my cell number. I think it's out there. Everybody always has it, anyways.
What's your full name one more time?
Man, Edward Kahale Lehua Onamanu Kiyoshi Kresma III.
Shut the hell up! Are you
That
kidding
is
me?
my full name.
Okay, what is your business name? Your full. Wait, say that one more time, just for everybody.
Edward Kahale Lehua Onamanu Kiyoshi Kresma III.
Jesus.
So what do you go by?
On business wise?
Yeah. What's your
Francisco.
LinkedIn?
No, Ed. It's just Ed.
Francis.
You don't put a last name on documents or?
No, actually, it's just Ed the Autobroker.
Oh, that's your new name.
Okay, cool.
EdTheAutobroker.com. Ed the Autobroker.
You're so Americanized.
I am. That's okay. The white people love it.
Yeah. And we'd like to also thank again our sponsor, Cascade Street Distillery, for the potato vodka. Very delicious.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
Still enjoying it.
Yes.
Keeps the conversation going.
And
absolutely.
With that, whoever stole my motorcycle, I will find you. And
give it back.
Swear to God, you're making my life living hell. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace out.
Peace out. Bye.